GF pregnant by another guy after wild weekend of sex with him. Gory details inside. Thoughts appreciated. Me and my GF are both 30. We have good jobs and make a reasonable amount of money. We have been together for 5 years. I love her very much. She is, to be frank, the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. She could easily be a model. She is many guys' ideal woman and a certain 10-10. Whenever she goes out she gets hit on constantly. Whether I am there or not actually. Me. Not so much, although I have no problem attracting women. I am above average 7'10" and take care of myself. But I couldn't be a male model or anything. Generally our relationship has been fantastic. Neither of us has been unfaithful and we are very much in love. I certainly love her very, very much. The last 6 or so months have been stressful, however. Work has been into overdrive for both of us. And although we've made a reasonable amount of money towards buying our first house, either of us getting home before 10 p.m. has been very rare. Basically we've been exhausted and have neglected both X and our relationship. Although not for any other reason than time and being exhausted. My feelings haven't altered one iota and neither have hers. Fast forward to around 2.5 months ago when we were both invited to separate reunions with old friends across the country. Neither of us are originally from the area we're living in now. It was a great opportunity for both of us to blow off steam after working so hard and neglecting life for a few months. Although we were both disappointed it wasn't going to be with each other. So we kissed, told each other how much we loved and will miss each other. And I went across the country to my hotel and she went to hers. Let's just say, we had very different weekends. Hers involved going to a party where, in her words, the most good-looking guy she has ever seen approached her. Apparently he was a friend of someone else at the party. She basically said every woman was getting wet just looking at him and she was just on a high that this guy approached her. She didn't plan on anything, but everyone was drinking heavily and she ended up in bed with him for most of the weekend. When she came back she was the most loving, attentive girlfriend you have ever seen. I was still too tired, exhausted for X, but literally she was like a Stepford wife in the weeks that followed. I stupidly just put it down to her missing me and loved that she loved me so much. Fast forward again. She broke down and said she couldn't cope with the lie anymore and told me everything. Prompted, I am sure, by her finding out that morning that she's pregnant. There is zero possibility of it being mine. She is the most sorry and frightened woman you have ever seen. She even asked me to physically assault her because she is so angry and upset that she cheated on me. She will do anything I want to make things okay. It's a bit scary actually. She is frightened and literally shaking at the prospect of me leaving her. If I am honest with myself, I think most of the fear is about the baby. She is crying, saying she can't get rid of it and she is terrified of keeping it and raising it alone. I was completely and utterly numb and heartbroken. I said to her that before I go any further, I need the truth. Literally every second of what happened that weekend or I am out the door. I knew this was a double-edged sword and that the reality and cold facts could destroy me. But I am one of these people who can't not know. The facts were horrifying and made me physically sick. I actually threw up. Basically my girlfriend was this guy's personal adult video star for the weekend. Some highlights. It was the roughest, most aggressive ex she has ever experienced. And she ducking loved every minute of it. It was the best ex she has ever experienced. She had several powerful and intense orgasms during their weekend in bed. She has never ever come like this before with anyone or solo. His dick was the best she has ever taken. 9. He made her ducking measure it during one of their X games, which rubbed all the right areas, and he could keep going for hours. He caught some of the above on his camera phone. So there is a video somewhere of my girlfriend basically acting like a pawn star in a cheap hotel room. So, Reddit. I can't say I didn't consider the implications of asking, but ducking hell, I have had my heart firmly ripped from me. Currently therefore I have a girlfriend who is pregnant by a male model BDSM hero with a magic cock, who is going to have his baby, and who is so sorry she will do whatever the duck I want so that I can somehow get over this and stay with her. Basically I can treat her however I please as long as I don't leave. It's fine if I hate her for the rest of my life, even as long as I stay with her. We have been talking about marriage and kids this last year and she is desperate for me to commit to that still. She keeps promising to spend the rest of her life making this up to me and will be the perfect wife I could possibly want. I don't even know what to think right now. I feel like every sense I have has been shorted out and I am now totally numb. My first instinct is to just wait for her to work in the morning, then pack up all my stuff and just leave. I am not the type of guy to raise another guy's baby, especially now I know the full circumstances of how it was conceived. We have just 2 months left on our lease and I can easily switch to a different end of the country with my job very quickly. I feel so grateful for that right now. So I can literally leave and never speak to or hear from her again. The only problem is that I am so in love with her. I don't feel like I'll ever get over her. Duck. I am hesitating. I am second guessing myself. What do you think, Reddit? Is it possible to overcome a situation like this? I can't think how. I simply cannot raise this guy's kid. I can't. Duck. My head's all over the place. Rational thoughts would be awesome about now. Dude. She wants you to take care of the baby. Also, since she hasn't had the chance to get bored with that guy, nothing will ever live up to that weekend. And she will probably go looking for it again. She didn't seem to feel too bad until she realized she was pregnant and had to tell you. If you want to raise another man's child while she thinks about him every time you duck, then go ahead. But I don't think you want that. She even told you she's just scared of raising it alone. Don't get used as a wallet. This is ducked, bro. I don't even know what to say. I'd get out if I were you. It's just too much. Far too much. Edit. I seriously think this is the most ducked thing I've seen on our relationship advice ever. Second story. Caught by the BF in bed. I used to think that I am an adult. Now I am just a human who sits in front of the warm glow of his monitor, spreading a very awkward first-hand experience with the world. You see, I just got thrown out of a gal's house by her BF. We met each other a few months ago, and despite knowing she is attached, we went on our merry ways. We did all these in full knowledge of the existence of that other guy. It was so easy to be doing all the things lovers do when that guy seems so far away. She was very unhappy with her relationship and had made it very clear to both of us. Today she invited me to her house and cuddled on her bed. She had her shirt and bra off and we cuddled for a bit, and as usual, no ex. I knew I should have waited, at least until she had a proper break off with the BF. BF stormed her house, found us in her bed and proceeded to give me a series of punches in the head. Caught in this situation we had so merrily ignored. She didn't know how to react, but I did. Inside, I admit to being the third party in their relationship, and so the next natural thing to do is to let that guy pound me, screaming his heart out. Man, that felt bad. I realized at that moment that the guy was very real, alive and breathing with emotions. He asked me to get out of his sight, in which I did, muttering, "You two settle this on my way out." She is bound to break off with the BF sooner or later, and so why must I jump in between them at this critical period? I foresee a very awkward meeting next time between both of us if we meet at all. So Reddit. No matter which one of your heads are at work, dating an attached girl is never a good idea. Always remember that even though you had never met that guy actually exists, and if you get caught, the feeling is never good. Non-native English speaker. Pardon for my language. Third story. My best friend is in love with me and I can't lose her. Need your advice. I am 25. She's 22. We've known each other for 5 years. Been best friends for 3. Long story short, yesterday she called me asking me if I could come over. She sounded very serious. She sat me down and basically confessed that she was in love with me without actually speaking those words. She said that it had been slowly killing her for months now. She's been tired and distant lately, and that she was sorry for feeling that way but that she couldn't help it. She asked me if there were a possibility of being something more. I told her I needed some time to think and left. I don't feel that way about her. I love her, but I am not in love with her. Naturally, the best course of action would be to tell her that and be honest with her, but by now I know that our friendship is pretty much over. She's the most important person in my life besides my mother, and been that way for 3 years. We've been together through so much. Helped each other get over our cheating significant others and so forth. I can't afford losing this person, and by being honest I think I might just do that. It would be understandable for her to cut all contact in order to get over me, and even if she didn't, this revelation would definitely put a strain on our relationship, and it would be weird and awkward. The bottom line is things would never be the same. I know I am being selfish, but I just can't lose her. So I am thinking of giving this a shot. There isn't that spark between us, not from my side anyway, but she's a beautiful girl and one of the most caring and selfless people I know. She's the only person I can talk to about anything, and she knows me through and through, and I know her. I am asking fellow Redditors who have been there, is there any chance that I will eventually fall in love with her? Or is this doomed from the start? Will I end up hurting her more than by telling her I don't feel the same way? I really don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt her, but at the same time I don't want to lose her. I guess I am ducked either way, but I am asking you to help me. Dear Reddit. Too long didn't read. My best friend is in love with me and I don't feel the same way. Edit. Thank you all for your advice. I appreciate it. I've decided to take a few days to think things through, but I guess honesty is the best way to go in this case. I don't know about pursuing a relationship. A part of me wants to and another part is very confused. We'll wait and see. I'll try to post a follow-up in a few weeks' time. Thanks again. Update. I promised to post a follow-up. So here I am, after some days of thinking what my life would be like without her presence. Wondering if I could imagine myself being in a relationship with her. If I could see past her being a friend, and toying with the idea of a relationship. I decided to give it a shot. I was honest and told her my feelings weren't as strong as hers, but that I wanted to give it a try. As per some advice, I took her out on a date, just dinner and a walk in the city. Held her hand and basically stopped acting like a friend. It was kind of weird in the beginning, but we quickly laughed it off. I kissed her goodnight, which led to more kissing, but we stopped there. I actually had a really good time. Since then, we've been doing more couple-y things, spent Christmas together, and basically been getting closer if that's possible. We both agreed that being open and honest was the way to go. I have too. Say I am actually very happy in a relationship in a long time, no bullshit, no drama, no pretending, and feel like this is going somewhere. And yes, we had X and it was awesome. She's actually resting in my bed as I type this. I want to thank you for your advice. You are a great community. Fourth story. I have an offer of marrying a very wealthy man who knows I don't love him. I am 26-year-old single mother with a 10-year-old son. Yep. Do that math. I was a teen mom before it was on MTV. I just focused on him until about 5 years ago, and since then I have had nothing but bad luck with men. Seriously. I have pheromones that only attract losers, users, and liars. Maybe I have bad taste. They all seem like nice men. Even the ones picked out by others end badly. I have struggled financially. I have done my best to provide well for my son. Went to school to be a right now registered nurse and make $45,000 a year working close to 60 hours a week. We own a modest home and he doesn't want for much. I drive a 97 Camry and it's on death's door. I have shin splints and foot problems from long shifts on my feet. I try really hard to be good with money and have managed to put a whopping $13,000 in my son's college account. I met this man, let's call him Lee, at a hospital board meeting. I am the right now rep for my department. He's on the charity board of directors. He comes from family money and has invested well. When he asked me out the first time, I politely declined. He's 45, overweight, and not my type. He was very persistent and I agreed to lunch. At lunch he gave me an iPod. He had asked other nurses on the floor and he found out mine was recently stolen. I tried to refuse it, but he wouldn't accept it. I felt obligated to him after that and didn't like it. When I attempted to return it, he again refused and talked me into having dinner with him. At dinner he slipped an envelope in my purse, a gift certificate to a really nice day spa, with a sweet note about deserving to be pampered. At this point he won me over. No man has ever been so thoughtful or kind to me. I went out with him again but made him promise to let me treat him. We had a nice time. But, no spark, no passion. I tried kissing him. It was like kissing my uncle. That night there were flowers delivered to my door with this note: please keep trying. I think we could be something special. I am falling for you. I felt terrible. I felt like I was leading him on. I planned on seeing him the next day to end it. But I didn't. I thought about all the losers and the men that never called after they had finally gotten me in bed. I realized this was the first time I had ever gotten flowers. Even when my son was born. I took his advice and kept trying. We went out for a few more weeks and it was clear that he was in love with me. The gifts were still coming and he started talking about our future. I decided to see if we were sexually compatible. It was pretty good. He was generous. As always, the next day I came home to a brand new Toyota Camry in my driveway. Another note: don't even try to refuse this. You deserve this. And so much more. I felt like a whore. I was insulted and angry. I drove it to his house and left it there with my own note: it's over. Leave me alone and don't even think about bringing this back. Maybe I overreacted. I don't know. He called me and asked to see me one more time. To explain himself. I agreed, wanting the opportunity to return the gifts. He was calmer than I expected. He proposed it like a business venture. He loves me and doesn't care if I love him. If I agree to marry him, he will take care of me in every way possible. My son will go to the best private school and have higher education provided. I can quit or work less hours, or go back to school or sit at the pool all day. Basically, free to do as I please. He travels often and I would get to see the world. He has a vacation homes in Kona and Italy. No prenup either. He said that he'd expect me to be faithful, but would do everything in his power to keep me satisfied. Also, no matter what my choice, the car is mine. That was yesterday. There's no deadline on my decision, but would like to give him a firm answer by the weekend. He wants to fly me to his parents' house on the coast to announce the engagement. The car was returned to my driveway while I am writing this. I will never be able to provide for my son like this. He'd be a good stepdad. And my son has no father in his life. I really don't think he wants a shiny new toy. He can certainly afford newer and prettier. He's a lovely man that loves me. There's a big part of me that is attracted to how much he cares. I am also attracted to his kind heart and determination. I feel like I will regret not doing this. On the negative side, I worry I will always feel beholden to him. I worry that I will feel like a prostitute. I worry that my son will sense that this is a union of convenience and it will hinder his mental growth toward healthy relationships. I worry that I will never grow to love him and be resentful toward our marriage. I also have a very small worry that his family will see me for what I am and treat me poorly. I worry that I am cheating him out of the possibility of being with someone that really loves him. I worry that I won't respect myself after. So Reddit, what would you do? Way too long didn't read: a wealthy man has offered this hard-working single mom a life of luxury. I am not jumping right on it because I have a conscience. Edit: going to bed, which I should have done hours ago. I appreciate the support and the feedback. I am still nowhere near making a decision. And it seems Reddit is just a split. Oh, And Max, if I do marry him, I am totally sending you and your daughter somewhere awesome. Update. Thank you very much for the plentiful and very considerate advice. I met with Lee today and hammered away some details. A lot what I said to him came straight from things suggested by Redditors. He was fantastic. Very understanding of my hesitancy and willing to take whatever steps necessary to make this work. I officially declined his marriage offer and asked that he not propose again in the next year. We are officially in a committed relationship. He has agreed to the following. No more gifts. Unless it's an occasion or holiday. Flowers are okay. With reason. He's getting his teeth fixed. He's such a dork sometimes. He didn't know about cosmetic dentistry. He thought repair would be lengthy and painful. Start eating healthier and exercising. Which he had already done. Guessing I would prefer he were a little more trim. Better respect my boundaries. When I say no or slow down, it needs to be heard. And here's what I agreed to. I am applying for a job in another department. Better hours. Less stress. I will allow him to use his influence to help me get a position if I can't do it on my own. This allows me more free time for my son and for Lee. I will help Lee in his quest for fitness. Heck, I could tone up a bit myself. I am giving this relationship the attention and consideration it deserves. I am not just viewing him as an old man trying to buy my love, but as a man that cares about me and wants good things for me. I was panicked last night but feel really good about everything now. Thanks. Again. Reddit. Update 2. Have a new job. Work only 45 hours a week for as much money. And get to see my son a lot more. He's really happy and so am I. Lee and I had a honest, fun relationship for 2 months, and last night as we watched a movie snuggled on the couch I kissed the top of his head and told him I loved him. 'Cause I do. He's so sweet. And funny. When you get to understand his dry wit. And brilliant. And I just grew to love him. He gave me the biggest smile and said, I know. Totally Han Solo style. As I was emailing friends of the development, I remembered the support of our relationship advice and had to update with the happy news. Last update. Last week Lee and I ended our relationship. The age difference and political differences were weighing heavily on us. I found myself unhappy when I was with him. I couldn't look past his conservative views in support of Romney. No amount of affection or money can make me turn my back on human rights. My son is taking it pretty well. He misses Lee. They had grown close but he says he understands that I needed to do this. I think I am going to back burner dating until he's an adult. I can't do anything like this to him again. I am grateful to the Our Relationship Advice community for its advice and support. I've learned a lot about myself in this relationship. Despite being bummed that it didn't work out, I keep reminding myself that every situation is an opportunity for growth. Yeah, that sounds good. Ha! And happiness is more valuable than hundreds of millions of dollars. Hit like. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to our channel.